personal details. The very first part on that page is title, your surname, or that's your family name. Note that for Ireland purposes, if you're filling in any form, if you're writing your names, for example, I know Africans, they always start with surname first. Note that eventually when you move over to Ireland, you need to start with your first name. People are addressed by their first name. So if you put your surname first, you might actually be confused with someone else or something else. So I would like to advise you that you always start with your first name, unless the form says otherwise. So for the surname slot, you put in your family name, and for your forename, put it exactly the way it's written in your passport. And date of birth, that's the date you were born. Your nationality, and that's your country of origin. If you have citizenship from other countries, for example, Nigerians, some of them have citizenship from other countries as well. So you include all those countries, your nationality, and email address, that's your email address of contact for the purpose of NMBI account, because they're going to open an account for you and send you details of how to operate the account, and that's where you're going to be able to track your application. So you need to put in your email address. Use your personal email address because of confidential reasons. And mobile number is your phone number from your country. Make sure when you're filling in your mobile number details, you need to add your country code at the start of the number. For example, if your number starts with 080, you need to include a plus and your country code at the start of that number, because the form is an international form. And contact address, make sure when you put in your contract address, includes a PO box or anything, because the address you include, that's where the NMBI is going to post your application pack to. So don't just include an address that is not traceable. Include an address that NMBI can trace, and an address that actually has a PO box or PMB that you can trace, and you can collect your documents and in a secured form. So you include your contact address, and the last portion of it before you sign, it says, I wish to apply for registration in the following divisions. Note that this is your first time applying, so you need to tick only one box, and that is the general, because everyone starts with RN. You can't add midwifery, you can't add public health. You need to tick only general, because you're starting as a registered nurse first, and other divisions come later in Ireland. Now, this is the second part of the B section. It says professional details. So what is your profession? You have to take off general nurse, because that's what you are applying for. So you take off just one, which is general nurse. Your country of qualification, so you have to take it off. That's where your group applies. So if you put in a country which is under group 1 application, and you are putting a country and you're filling a form for group 3, it's going to be wrong. So your country of qualification is your African country where you studied and practiced nursing. And countries of practice, if you've had opportunities to go to other places, firstly you have to start with your home country, and then other places you put in the slots as well. Note that if you haven't practiced nursing and you want to register as a nurse, and you haven't practiced for the last 12 months, that's 1 year. Note that such a person is ineligible to apply for general nursing division for NMBI. So they're gonna think you haven't practiced, so there's no point putting you on the register. You have to be actively in practice over the last 12 months. and then you sign off and put in the date. Now, section C deals with English language competence. Note that your pathway for that purpose is pathway 3. So you tick off just the box for 3. That's your group, pathway 3. Just after half of the page, you tick off just one pathway, which is 3, and you put in your TRF number. If you did IELTS, that's the number on your test report form. Note, as I said earlier on, NMBI is going to verify your results independently, irrespective of the number you put in on that form. They're going to contact British Council to actually know if you took the exam or not, and the date. They'll verify everything. So if you didn't take IELTS, you don't need to fill in the TRF number. You only need to fill in your OET candidate number on the lower part of the page, and you have to tick off there's a box that says I have given NMBI permission to verify my results. That's if you are putting whatever results you are filling in. So whatever form you're filling in, you have to tick it off, because you have to give them permission to verify independently. I really want to say this. One of the beauties of working in Ireland is that once you pay your application fee of €350, and eventually if NMBI allows you to proceed after you've received a decision letter from the NMBI and you meet up with all the requirements, and they now ask you that you can now finally be placed on the register of general nurses in Ireland, you're going to be asked to pay another fee for placement on the register. The fee is €145. So €145 is for placement on the register. And note this, that when you get an employer, for most employers in Ireland, they actually pay you back your NMBI exam fee and your NMBI exam fees. They pay you back NMBI adaptation fee. I'm going to be talking about adaptation in subsequent videos, adaptation or exam pathway in subsequent videos. So your employer is going to refund you back. They'll refund your overseas application fee, and they're going to refund your placement on the register fee as well. They're going to give you back. So eventually, once you pay to NMBI, make sure you get a receipt. Write them an email and request for a receipt of payment, because you're going to need it. It's going to be required later in the future.